I didn't plan this stop. I woke up at a Love's travel stop and I decided, what can I do with today? I have some extra time. So I took off and I found Indiana Dunes National Park. It was an unexpected adventure. It gave me some history, a hike to a beach that was really strange, and a lake that looked like an ocean, and a quiet reminder of why I chose this life, this van life. Not every day has to be big to matter. Let me show you. Hi and welcome to Miles to Myself. My name is Michelle. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. And if you're new, thanks for watching. So today was a really unexpected day. And as I said in my preview of this video, I woke up and I had some time to kill. And I started looking around for what I could do with my day. And I took off to Indiana Dunes National Park. And I only had a few hours because I needed to get to my campground that is in Illinois. So I was in Indiana and I needed to get to Illinois. It was going to be a couple of hour drive, but there was a lot of traffic, so I'm glad that I left when I did. But I digress. So the first thing I did when I got to the visitor center and paid my fee is I talked to this great lady who explained a few things that I could do in just a short amount of time. And so the first thing I did was visit these historic houses that were built for the 1933-1934 World's Fair or something like that. I don't know if I have that quite right. There were 11 houses to start, and there's only 5 left. The Lake Michigan has claimed them, the other 6, and they were really cool. One of them actually has an airport hangar because they're supposed to be houses of the future, and at the time people thought that we'd all have planes in this day and age, so they built an airport hangar in one of the houses. Another house had air conditioning, which it was during the Depression. People didn't have air conditioning back then. It was, new and invented way back then, and like a central air, by the way. And they also had, one house had a garage, which, again, 1933, nobody even had cars at that point. So that was pretty cool to see the history of this section of houses. And the next stop that Sharpie and I made, we went to this place called Mount Baldy, which is just a giant sand dune. Now, I've never seen a sand dune before because I've never really seen much of anything in my life. But it's like this 126 foot tall sand dune, according to Wikipedia. And the lady at the visitor center explained to me that it wanders. So every year it moves and shifts, and it's called a living sand dune. So we got there. I couldn't really see much. There was a lot of obstructions, trees, and, cordoned off areas that said do not enter because they didn't want you climbing on the sand dune. So we took a trail and we walked to the beach, to Lake Michigan, where you could see the sand dune a little bit better. And what was really cool is the trail all the way from the where you start, where you park, all the way to the beach is all beach sand. So here you are walking, it's all beach sand, and on either side of you there's woods and forest, and I'm not used to that where I come from. I'm used to hard packed earth and tree roots and rocks and trails. I don't know, maybe it's weird not to see it the way that I see it, but I thought that was pretty cool. The last stop that we made, we went to a place called the Bailey, let me see here, what is it called? Bailey Homestead and the Chellberg farm. Now, Chellberg was something that just caught my attention right away because my family calls me Shell. And it was actually a Swedish family that immigrated in the 1850s from Sweden. And a lot of families immigrated from Sweden around the 1850s to northern Indiana, which I did not know that. That was pretty cool. And this was just a story of one family, the Chellbergs, and you got to walk through and see their farm and how it's, you know, it's actually really cool because on the other side of their farm is all forest and like cliff drops, and so they just took out this little area and made a farm. And the Bailey Homestead is actually being renovated right now. There's a $5 million grant that is paying for this project. And I didn't really get to see much of that. Hopefully, maybe someday I'll go back and get to see what the house looks like, but I didn't get to go into any of the little outbuildings. I thought that would be cool if they had those done up. They had these really cool like log cabin outbuildings, and I don't know if they were farm hands at the time that the farm or the homestead was operational that lived in these tiny little houses, or who lived there, but they were pretty neat to see. So that was my day. It was pretty cool. I ended up leaving there around, I don't know what time it was, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I knew that the next stop that I was gonna go was at least a couple of hours, 3 hours away, but there was a ton of traffic. And it took me forever to get here, like 3-4 hours to get here. But I'm at this beautiful campground called the Sugar River Forest Preserve, and Sharpie is staked out and he's been sniffing. He's had a sniff day today. Everything was just an overload of senses for him. So it was a great day, and I just wanted to share it with you, and thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.